Thank you for joining me today on the Who God Says podcast. I am your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Ty-Shaun-dra. Hi, hi, hi. We have a special guest today. She is a spiritual teacher, an author, a devoted single mother, and an advocate for rejuvenation of mothers as the cornerstone of effective parenting. Miss Tessia Watson, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad
Such
you're here.
a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I like that you say you're an advocate for the rejuvenation of mothers because mothers don't take self care as serious as we should. I am also a single mother, so I understand putting everything and everyone ahead of me and then kind of trying to figure out what can I do for me after that. So I am so grateful to have you. I want to start by asking you, where did you grow up? And did you grow up in a spiritual or religious household?
So I'm French, so born and raised in Paris. And originally, on my mom's side, I'm from Africa, in Togo. And from my dad's side, from the Caribbean. So this is my heritage. And I grew up in, yes, definitely religious because we were attending church.
Mhm.
I won't say every single Sundays, but quite regularly. So as a Catholic.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is the background, and progressively throughout my journey and experience here on this beautiful planet, um, I I just kind of change a bit the road, and I'm more into spirituality, meaning more into having a relationship with the creator of the universe and know about the laws of the universe and applying them
Yes.
in my life. So that's me now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know a lot of times when people grow up in a household where there is a certain religion that's practiced, we kind of feel obligated to that. And it's like, well, this is how my mom did it, my dad did it, so I think I should do it like this. Or did you feel like I need to get out and learn more for myself so I can understand more? How did you feel about it?
I think I came to a point that it was not making sense for me at some point. So I didn't feel anymore that I was fitting in, that I was belonging there. So I just kind of stopped going to church, and I stopped praying as well the way I was praying before. And I just decided that I needed a break to just, find out by myself what, I believe in and what I want, to practice.
Yeah.
But my family is very open and flexible, so there's no pressure. There's no you have to be the way we are.
Right.
So it's really easy to go into self discovery, right? Because it's kind of your parents they tell you that do whatever pleases you in a sense. So you have that freedom
Hmm.
to just explore what you need to explore, and find your own answers. So I'm grateful for my mom who raised me to be so open-minded and flexible.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, mom and dad. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. 'Cause a lot of times, if it was a strict household, they don't really. It's usually the way that we told you to do it, and that's how it's supposed to go. But that was great that they gave you that freedom because um, your spirituality is, like you said, about a relationship. It's not about following steps or rituals or whatever. It's about a relationship and having that understanding and that connection with our Father. And
Yes.
so that I really think it's very, very amazing that she allowed you to have that freedom because that's the only way that you're going to get that relationship. You can't get a relationship by being controlled under someone else's beliefs. So, I applaud mom and dad. Yes, that's
Yes,
beautiful. That
that's
is beautiful.
amazing.
So move it out of home. When you first stepped out on your own, what was your mindset? Like, what did you determine you wanted to do with your life? Like, how did you want to take on the world?
I didn't have a plan really I had ideas, like I wanted to become a lawyer, so I had ideas of what I would love to do. And then I think life is just showing you what is really best for you in that
Yeah,
sense. So sometimes you can decide that you want to become in my case a lawyer, and then it's okay, you just go that route, and just you realize while you're there that it's okay, I don't think I'm gonna stay there.
hmm,
I think I'm gonna move on to something else, to another chapter, right? And
right,
whatever you learned through this experience of studying, law, or working in law office, it will always stay with you, and it will always, help you, when you encounter, challenges, or it just equipped you to the next level, I would
right,
say.
right.
So it's just part of the journey. And so for me, I thought it would be that I will just, become a lawyer, and that will be my kind of life in terms professionally, let's say, in that aspect. And obviously, yes, I always wanted to have children. So it was something that, I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
But things just, I never planned to. Now I'm based in London, but you see, I never really put a strategy, a plan or a strategy to just, live abroad, or sometimes you just, I don't know, you just go with the flow. So
Yeah,
that's my philosophy. I am not that type of person who, likes to plan everything. I love to be guided, and to follow my intuition, and just see how things, works, works for the best for me.
that's amazing. I wish I would have been like that early on in my life. Because I love to plan things out, and I learned that that's me trying to have a sense of control. Like I want to be able to control the
Mm,
outcomes of things. I want to be able to, and I it took me oh my god, a long time to understand that
mm,
it's okay to plan, but plan loosely. Because
yeah.
when I would plan and it didn't happen the way it's supposed to happen, it would be detrimental to everything. It's like, oh my God, the world has stopped. It's just
Yeah.
so I
I think
learned
it's a
that.
lot of person, a lot of person. Obviously, I mean, until you understand that it's the way it is, you just kind of, yeah, stay attached to the outcome desired. And yeah, the best way to go out to go about with life is just to remain detached,
Mhm.
and to accept, what is presented. That's the best way to be the happiest you can be, is
Yeah,
to be like that.
yeah. Ooh, control is something. I talk a lot about control because that was a serious thing for me. It was serious. I didn't even realize how much of control that I sought and I wanted to hold on to and just choke it for dear life. But that was me. I had to be in control and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize it. It's that's one of them things that you got to really self-evaluate. You really have to get in and figure out who you are and what you're actually doing. Oh my God.
Yes, let go, and let God. That's
That's
the.
right. That's right. So you are a
But
single
I
mother.
know it's not an easy things to put in practice.
It's not. It's
That's not
not, but
easy
you
at
like you
all.
said, putting in practice. You gotta
Mm,
put it into
yes.
practice. You practice to become better. So yeah, like you said, put it into practice. But, so you are a single mother. How old were you when you had your first child?
28. And I had the second when I was 30. So
Okay.
yes, 28 and
Oh,
30 years old, two boys.
okay.
I was still in a relationship up until I think they were 5 and 5.5 and 3, something, or 3.5 and 5, something like that.
Okay.
And it's very interesting because I am a single mother, but sometimes I just, even myself, I'm wondering now if it's the right, title, because the father of my children is still around, like in the sense that is, seeing the children, is present, is financially, supporting. And my mom was a single mom as well, but not the same kind of single, because my dad was not around and not
Right.
supporting financially. So, do we have a word to kind of differentiate the single mother without no dad at all around and the single one with dad around?
Well, here we say baby daddy. So if we have a single mother with a baby daddy, he's probably not doing much. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know,
we have
because
to
it's
come up with.
tricky, because if you say, because I think in a sense it's not really fair, because my mom was really on her own, right? You
Yes.
see, there's no dad and she has to provide and everything. I am not in that position, and I
Hmm.
want to to mention it. It's
Yeah.
not the same. I'm not going through the same struggles and everything. So I think it's important, because but I'm still single. So
We may have to say co-parenting single woman.
okay, thank you. So now, you see, I think we need this. We need a word to kind of differentiate, because otherwise people will say, "Oh my gosh, she's alone. She's doing no, 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 no." Their dad is around, is involved, is present, and
Yeah.
is supporting. So no, no, no. I don't want to. And yes, so I think it's good what you just said. I love that.
Co-parenting single woman. Okay, I'm a co-parenting single woman as well.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah. So we got to switch the narrative. We got to, yeah, I get it.
Starting and growing a business while dealing with your finances can be overwhelming and stressful. Emerald Services provides packages tailored to your business needs to help you mitigate taxes, stay compliant, plan for your future, and save money so you can focus on being the creative, influential visionary that delivers your dreams to the world. Because what you focus on is what will multiply. Schedule your discovery call today to find out ways Emerald Services can benefit your life plan and your business plan. Visit emeraldserve.com or call 504 603 6059.
Good. We got that. Okay. What was your perception when you first became a parent? How did you, like, what was your perception of parenting at that time? Like, what do you believe was supposed to happen?
Oh, I thought it would be easy. Because I grew up. I mean, I have a large family, so I have younger cousins, and so they were always around as
Hmm.
babies, because we have like what 10 years apart or 15 years apart, and my auntie who stayed with us and helped my mom raising us.
Hmm.
She was a childminder, so she was, welcoming children at home, babies. So I just, observed her and I helped her as well. So I thought I have, everything. I know how to change a nappy. I know how to, give the bottle. I know
Hmm.
how to play with the baby. I know everything. So yeah, I was extremely confident. and 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 the story didn't, I mean, the outcome was not as expected, because I couldn't anticipate, obviously, the birth to start with.
Hmm.
It didn't it didn't go at all the way I imagined it or planned it. It's just it was not it was really, really, really tough. So you start your motherhood, sorry, journey, exhausted. I
Mm.
had a C-section because it was, what happened. I had some issues with at birth, anyways. So you're not like really good shape, and yeah, you start fresh, and no. So you start exhausted on day one, completely exhausted, probably a bit traumatized as well because you just had a C-section. You never had that before. You are in pain. And you have this, beautiful, gorgeous baby next to you, but it's just beautiful. And at the same time, it's overwhelming. Like,
Mhm.
oh my God, am I, would I be a great mother? Anyways, and it's a huge load of responsibility straight, on your on your shoulders, and you're just like, wow. And I'm just too tired, just even to just carry the baby because I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
So it's and it doesn't stop here. You go through all the challenges, obviously, and the baby doesn't sleep. But the thing is, everybody knows about newborn reputation, like they don't sleep
Mhm.
through the night. But normally, you know that they sleep every 2 or 3 hours, then they wake up. No, no, no. That depends on what kind of newborn you have. So my second one was like this. He sleeps for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then he wakes up. So you know that you have at least that time. But the first one, wow, the first one didn't want to go to sleep at all.
Oh,
I
wow.
thought this couldn't exist. So he was sleeping on the breast, and as soon as it was time for me to just, put him down in his cot, straight away, he just wakes up. So it was all night long. I couldn't believe this. So no, I was completely hopeless. I mean, the lack of sleep is just is torture. I was really hopeless. I was really, really sad. I was crying quite a lot because I just wanted the baby to sleep. Just even a couple of hours, not on me, just in a cot, like
Mhm.
normally it's supposed to be like that. I never figure out why exactly. It could be so many different reasons. The
Mhm.
baby is stressed or anxious. The baby doesn't have, a deep sleep. Just a light, I just don't know. And I attended some no, not breastfeeding classes, and I discussed, the problem with, the person who were running at the time the classes, and she said to me, some babies, they're just like that. It's very rare because they most of the time they go for their 2 or 3 hours of sleep without you, but some they're really like that. And it's just, you have to go through it. And my biggest lesson came a couple of years after when I met a friend. She's now a friend,
Mhm.
and we were just having a conversation. That was the first time I was meeting her, and she said to me that she was a maternity nurse. So I asked her, what is that? And she said that she comes to, the parent home, and she stay overnight to care for the baby while, the parent can have a little break. My world at that moment literally stops. Like, a solution existed to that problem.
Wow.
I never heard about this service, but the problem was really my lack of awareness, my
Yeah.
ignorance. Because I assume that I have to endure this, there's no solution, there is nothing can save me from what was happening, that I didn't even bother to just make a search on Google and just, type how you can deal with a newborn who doesn't sleep. You will have,
Right.
solutions will have come up, or you talk to people, not just one, but few people. I mean, you ask for it. You seek the answer, as they say, ask, knock, seek. You do
Yeah.
that until you have the answer. And because I just didn't know, I was not bothered. So it was the biggest one. it's when I really realized that no matter what you are going through, no matter what is your challenge or problem, the solution exists.
Yes.
Definitely. It's just a matter of finding it. And when you know that, it's different. You are in
Mm,
a different, mindset, and you're just like, okay, I don't know how to deal with this, but I will find out. And then you start to be in motion, right?
yeah.
And, you know, um, you will attract the answer. And that was my biggest lesson. So now, obviously, I approach every problem differently. I
Yeah.
don't believe that the problem is just a problem that I have to endure or to live with. The solution is out there.
Yeah. I like that. What did your family help out with the newborn? Did you like run to your mom and your aunt and say, "Hey, I need help"?
So because I'm based in London and they are in Paris,
Mhm.
they came for a few days, like a week or two, and then my mom at the time was still working, so she had to go back to work,
Yeah.
and my auntie the same. So it's very difficult when your family is not around. And
Yeah.
what I learned as well is that you have to create your own support system.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's something that is going to be very, very, very difficult because you feel really isolated. It's usually demanding to care for a baby, and without support, it's just it will get to your mental health. Obviously, it will start to create issues. So that's why it's something that we need to talk more about it, and how you can reach out to people and ask the community, find solutions to not be on your own. No children come in this on this planet to be raised by only one or two person, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we all say that it takes a village to raise a
Mhm.
child. It's true. It's true because it's not a one-person job.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that as well. So since the birth and that first experience, and then you have your other child, and that's a totally different experience, how has your perspective on parenting changed since then?
Since I had the second one,
Hmm.
I think what I would say is that it was very progressive for me. I've learned through my experience with the first one and my experience with the two together. It was just a long, it was a learning experience all through it.
Hmm.
And my vision of parenting changed because I had this goal of being the best mother I could be. So I decided to start, educate myself in parenting. So I've read so many different books at the time to make sure that I have all the tips, that I could use to make sure that my children can be happy, strive, and in life, and be healthy as well. And I think it was very useful. But for me, what I realized, and that's why I wrote this book, is just that children learn through observation, right? So whatever you kind of show to them, whatever you model, they will learn from it.
Hmm.
And if you want your children to be happy, healthy, and to strive in life, you just have to be that.
Right.
And once you are, they're learning from what they see, what they experience with you. And so I think it's the best. And I know that children are happy because where they live, it's a loving and happy and joyful environment. And I think it's what you need to pass on to your children. And you pass on that by being that. So it's more about a state of consciousness. It's more about yeah, a beingness
Yeah.
in that sense. And that's what I've learned. it was not something that I knew before. When I was, a new mother, I didn't know about that. But the best way for them to be, what you ever dream your children to be is by becoming it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So you started a childcare program. What is your childcare program, and how did you begin it?
Because I was, when my first one was one, I started to feel that I needed to have some time for myself. And I wanted him to be able to start, playing with his peers, learning, through his interaction
Hmm.
with them, and to gain a bit of independence as well. So I just started to look for a day, a child care service where I can just let the baby for a couple of hours, because I took the decision to be a stay-at-home mom. So
Hmm.
the point is not to leave the baby all day long, and because I'm there. So it was more for me to have a break, and
Hmm.
while the baby can, not the baby anymore, but the toddler can, enjoy himself with other friends. And so I started to do my searches, and I couldn't find anything, because in where I live, it's more you put children into childcare as a necessity. It's more because you are a working parent, and
Yeah.
so the way the the childcare settings are created is to obviously offer a lot of hours, right?
Yeah.
So when you come to them, they say, we need at least you to sign up for 3, 4 mornings. And so what's the point to be a stay-at-home, mom, if you're gonna send the child for 3 or 4 mornings, whatever. So in France, we don't have that. We have in where I live, we have two different childcare systems, and you have one obviously for working parents, and you have one for staying at home parents, where they decided to stay for one up to 1 to 3 years at home, and then you can book some slots like 2 afternoons or
Wow.
2 mornings, and you can have a little break for yourself, and the child can be in a group setting and learn and start learning through his peers and interactions with the carers. But it didn't exist here. So I remember one day I called my mom and I said, "My God, it doesn't exist. I can't find any crashes here. How comes? They don't have that. It's crazy." And she just, told me, "But it's okay, Tess. Just create one." What?
Yes.
But if I create one, who's gonna take mine? But I think her idea, kind of sank with me, and just at some point, I think probably 2 years later, I created my own one little, nursery where you drop just for a couple of hours, and you can have this me time for yourself. So I ran it for 7 years. It was quite, popular and very, it was successful because it didn't exist. So obviously, mothers was just like, wow.
Yeah.
For the first time, they have 2 hours for themselves. They're just like, my God, this is amazing, and they can still, keep on, their, stick with that choice to be stay at home mother and raise the children. They are still the main carer here, because we
Yeah.
just, support and help out. So it was a beautiful experience, and mothers always, demonstrated a lot of, gratitude, because it was something very precious to have at the time, when you just, 24/7, you are caring for someone else. You just need, a bit of a deserved break.
That is amazing. Yeah. Most of the time, when you can't find a solution, you are the solution.
Hi everyone! Join the Kingdom Fanatics community. Get exclusive content, green room access with our guests, and more. Visit our website at whogodsays.com. Like and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate your love and support. To find all information on joining our community, being a guest on the show, donating on our PayPal donation page, and more. Visit us at whogodsays.com. Now back to the show.
That is beautiful.
Exactly. It's really it's the way it is, and sometimes you just because it's now that I've studied the laws of the universe, you kind of understand that like there is there I mean a coal doesn't exist without a heart. You don't have a back without a front. It's the way our world has been created, so you can't
Mhm.
have a problem without the solution,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So it's just there. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. That is
thank you.
amazing. I want to ask, why do you think that mothers should prioritize their well-being as a woman and a mother and not consider that to be selfish?
When we think about the fact that when you just non-stop you care for others, and you get to a stage that where you feel empty, and
Mhm.
how can you give from an empty cup,
Right.
right? It's just not possible. When you are frustrated, stressed, anxious, tired, overwhelmed, and what can you give? We all know that we are two different persons when we are super relaxed,
Yeah.
recharged, happy, and when we are not. You're not
Yeah.
gonna interact the same way. The words that will come out from your mouth won't be the same. It's totally two different persons. So if you show up most of your days as the relaxed, recharged, and happy person, obviously the experience, within the house, the atmosphere, the dynamic will be such a different dynamic
Mhm.
than if you show up as the other person
Yeah.
most of the time. So for a household to be, peaceful and full of joy, you have to be. And to be, you have to care for yourself. You have to do
Yeah.
the things you love to do. You have to take care of your mind, of your body, of your spirit, because it's the only way to increase your level of happiness, of joy, of peace as well, of inner peace. And obviously you will spread that, to your family members, to you, even to your home. You would feel like that when just we come into your home. So it's so important. And if we think about when we take a plane to go somewhere, what do they say to us when, in case of an emergency, that to put, the oxygen
The
mask
mask on first and then
first.
put it. Yeah.
Why?
Mhm.
There is a reason, and that is the reason that if you're not well yourself, if you're not, happy yourself, or how can you make another one, happy, healthy, safe, whatever it is? It starts with you. It
Yes.
always starts with you.
Yeah. That is beautiful. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. The airplane. Put the mask on yourself and then to the child or the person next to you. Yep, they do. But how can you
Yeah, but
save someone if you can't save yourself? Yep.
can you imagine if you don't do it and you try to put, but you don't have the oxygen yourself, so you're like suffocating, trying to help your child. Oh my God, this is a disaster. So yeah, you need to be calm, breathing properly to be able to do that to your child.
Yeah,
So that's why there is no guilt. Okay.
that's right. I like it. Tell us about your book. What motivated you to write your book?
Oh, I felt completely cold to write this book. It's like it was a deep, strong intuition to share my journey and to just, share that message and spread that message.
Mhm.
I think that what I experienced was very difficult for me in different ways. I think mothers out there in this world, they're experiencing that challenges, not the same ones, but everyone, we are kind of, we have our own struggles, right? And
Mm-hmm.
because there's no talk about self-care, I remember when I gave birth, it was all about, explaining me how to care for the baby, which I think it's very important. But no
Right.
one ever came to me and say, well, Tess, how would you like this motherhood journey to be for you? And I would say, what do you mean? What do you mean? What would you like to do throughout the week? Do you want to take an hour and do something that you used to do and that you enjoy, like such as a gym class, or do you want to care for the baby 24/7 and never have a time for you? What do you want? Wow. I would have think, I would have think, and that's the first step, to
Mm-hmm.
just think about, okay, what could I do for me?
Yeah.
No, we don't even go there at all. So it's not even part of the thinking process. You just give birth, and it's all about the thinking process for the baby
Mm-hmm.
only. And that's why you kind of lose yourself in the process. You don't recognize yourself. You feel that there's something wrong here. Like, you don't. It's just a kind of a feeling, a strong feeling that there's something is not right. And that's what it felt for me at some point. And this voice within was saying to me, this is not the way, this is not the way. Might have another way, like it might exist another way. Well, but you just realize that you have to create it, because no one kind of warned you or talk to you about that. So you have to figure that
Yeah.
by yourself on your own, right? And that's what I want, mothers to not have to do. It's not about to tell them what to do. It's all about telling them, what would you love this, motherhood journey to be for you? Because you can decide, you can choose. And if you start thinking of, ooh, I would love maybe during the week, maybe not the first week, but maybe after 3 weeks or 2 weeks, whatever you decide, I would like to go for an hour somewhere, or to have a coffee with a friend without the baby, or to go to a class without you start thinking. If you start thinking and and you start having desires, then you will start planning, and you will start to go in that direction of, who can be there for the baby while I do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first step. Sometimes you can just, oh, I would love to go to the hairdresser. So, and then you start to plan. And that's the way you create this beautiful, motherhood journey that you can have. It's the only way. It's by, thinking about it, thinking about what you want and what you desire.
Yeah. I like that. Because this not only affects you physically, but it affects your mental health. It affects you spiritually, what you're able to give. Like, I love all the points that you made. Um, and I am so glad that you wrote this book. Where can we find the book? Where can we get a hold of the book?
So the book is on Amazon. It's called Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids. And just on Amazon, you will find it.
Okay. So I'll have a link to the Amazon book, Rejuvenated Moms. I love how you say that, moms. Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids. I love that. Can you give the audience a few tips on some of the things that you can put in place to help with self care? I know you said child care and just starting to think about the things that you want to do. But what are some of those actual things that we can put in place even if we didn't have the child care?
So, childcare is, I had to go that route because I didn't have family members around
Hmm.
much. But obviously, if it's something that, you know, you're blessed to have, you should obviously consider that.
Yeah.
And but when you don't have childcare, what I suggest is still deciding on what you want. It doesn't matter that you don't have it yet in
Yeah.
your life. It's deciding, because some people would say, "Oh, I don't have childcare. I don't have that, so I can't do it." It's not about the how, you know, that you have to ask yourself, how I'm going to make that happen. This is
Hmm.
not up to you. It's all about what do you want? And I think it's the first thing to know, you know, to figure out. So if you want to have, I don't know, let's take an example, an hour of yoga, let's say that. You just say that. That's what you want. And you just put that into the hands of the universe, to God, and you will see that you will start to attract everything about yoga. You will bump
Hmm.
on a friend and she will say, "Oh, do you know about this new class? Class of what? Yoga." Ah, first step. And then suddenly you didn't know, but your cousin, I mean, the cousin of the cousin is now living not too far from you. You know, it's just, you know, the universe will find the way to bring you whatever you want. So the first thing when you don't have childcare, it's deciding on what you want. That's the first thing. And now, in terms of self care, while you are with your baby, or it's all about taking all those moments that you have for yourself, like when, let's say, you take a shower. This is a moment that it's for you. So when you have that moment, just be present at that moment. Don't, you know, go into your thoughts and, you know, thinking about how I'm gonna do this, or what I have to cook, or the
Hmm.
baby. Just try to enjoy the present moment, not thinking about anything else, just what you are experiencing at the moment. And this is a bliss. You have just little moments of bliss like that, even when the baby, you know, is sleeping, before maybe you get your rest. Just, you know, be there to feel everything that you need to feel at that moment before you want to go for a nap, let's say. But it's just trying as much as possible to be in the present moment.
And
It helps
that's
so much.
easy.
It uplifts so much when you do that. It's kind of it's a way of doing, it's meditation, but it's kind of very obviously a quick one. It's not like a 5 or 10 minutes. It's just even a 1 minute.
Yeah.
And when you concentrate on your breathing and everything, it's just kind of restore lots of things within. And it's you can find, you know, inner peace in just 1 minute.
Yeah. That's it sounds really easy and we don't think about what we can do in a minute or 2 minutes. When we think about self-care, it's like this big thing where, oh, I have to find childcare and I have to be away from my kid for 2, 3 hours and I have to do this and I have to do that. When you break it down and it's just taking those small moments and making those small moments count for you, it becomes this thing that we can actually accomplish. And that's
Mm.
really good. That's really, really good.
And even just as well, just thinking about what you want and just put it out there. That is something as well that is really easy and that you can do at any moment. And then, you know, solution will come to you.
Yeah. Speak it into existence. Yes.
Yes, so it's we can do things. It's just sometimes, as I said at the beginning, we just don't know. We just
Mm,
don't know.
yeah. A lot of times we just don't know. Like you said, finding those solutions or becoming the solution. Getting in there and just research it and look for the things. You have to seek. Seek and you shall find.
Yes, exactly.
I want to thank you so much, Tessia, for stopping by and sharing with us. Can you tell the audience where they can connect with you and reach out to you if they have any questions or if they want to just talk?
Yes, absolutely. They can reach out at my on my website. So I have my email address there. So it's tessiawatson.com, and I will be more than happy, to share more or to give advices or to just support or listen.
Amazing. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for sharing your story and your spirit with us. And you all be great. Bye bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the space to be able to share. I really, really appreciate it. It was a great, great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the Who God Says podcast with your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Ty-Shaun-dra. Go to whogodsays.com to join the mailing list for episode premieres, upcoming guests, and more. Send in your questions to be a part of the show at whogodsays@gmail.com. And don't forget, join the Kingdom Fanatic community. Until next time, be blessed and also be a blessing.